JFK. I was saying last night that I hope that we're done with JFK, but that does not seem to be the case because of the synchronicity with the 16th, 17th, and 18th UN meeting. You can see the numbers right here. Anxious days. Those were anxious days for mankind. And some men wondered about whether this organization could survive, but the 16th and 17th General Assemblies achieved not only survival, but progress. Rising to the responsibility, the United Nations helped reduce the tensions and helped hold back the darkness. But we also have this thing right here. The separate order was not readopted for the 116th, the 117th Congress, but was again adopted in identical form as a separate order as part of the rules of the 118th Congress. You see the similarities that we're looking at? I cannot, in my spiritual self, ignore these synchronicities that are popping up. Good morning. Good morning. There's something going on. It's like we have JFK from back then. We had circumstances that were occurring. The speech to the UN, those numbers that specifically show up in his speech, and then we have this thing called, well, I'm not going to say this. No. We have this lady from Colorado, Lauren Boebert, introducing amendment after amendment, cutting officials' salaries and slashing funds. And she keeps using this thing called the Holman Bill. So I'm thinking, okay, I'm sitting here listening to her. They're reducing the salary. They're voting on reducing the salary of officials to $1. And I thought, I want to know what the Holman Bill is. This is the Holman Rule. The Holman Rule, the Congressional Research Service, House Rule, you can see what it is, Clause 2B, they just updated, but we'll see something about it because there's the similarities. Anyhow, it was Representative William Holman of Indiana, and I just so happen to be from Indiana. Whoopsie, my pants are getting caught on the drawer. We're going to get this going. Who first proposed the exception in 1876. This Holman Rule, through precedents that have tended incrementally to narrow application. Okay, under current precedents, legislation, the provisions is to the reduction amounts of money in whatever the bills, reduction of the number of salary of the officers of the United States, and reduction in the compensation of any person who is paid out of the Treasury of the United States. This separate order was not adopted for the 116th or 117th Congress, but again was adopted in identical form as a separate order, a part of the rules for the 118th Congress. So this is really interesting, listening to what is going on. And you may say, Gina, that has nothing to do with Kennedy. Well, the numbers themselves ties that spirit from way back then. Good morning. Yeah, no, my drawers aren't falling off. They're not. I'm standing here in a pair of shorts because it's kind of warm out. No, they're talking about some kind of stuff, but look at this. So, no, anxious. We got some anxious days happening for mankind. I think everybody listening to this video, that the days that we have been going through are making us really anxious. Sounds like an ancient spirit is out there. It's causing high anxiety, what we've been through these past few years. High anxiety is what we're dealing with, just like they were dealing with right there. Those were anxious days for mankind, what was happening, all this kind of stuff. No, they're going to wonder if the organization of the UN could survive. Well, we're wondering if the United States of America can survive. Other people are wondering if their country can survive what is happening in the world, is what we're wondering. Somewhere in time, same here, always deep diving. Hello, awakened one. So I'm not one who has really gotten into politics on this channel, but it's more than politics. We're talking about survival now. But I will admit, years ago, I was heavily into it. I wanted to know what was going on in the world governments. I did. That is the other part of Gina. The other part of Gina. But no. We got this one. She is sitting here wanting to reduce the salaries of these officials to $1. And it does. This Holman bill, when I'll type it in for you, the Holman bill. I thought, or whatever, what's it called? The Holman something. The Holman rule. The Holman rule. Holman rule. House rule. See, these are all about rules. Oh, this is perfect. We're a nation with rules. And then I've got this bottle says rule king. Okay, now we're gonna get into the spiritual. We're gonna take physical objects and tie it to what's happening right now. We are the Holman rule, whole man rule, house rule, the rule king, purify. We need the drinking water. We need the living water on the inside of us. We truly do. This more or less seems what's going on. And we got to put out the fires that are happening in the world. We got the great big clock of time that is ticking. These are all the things that animate objects. We've got to, the clock is ticking, but we still have some faith, hope, and love. I had to take off the gloves. This nation is taking off its gloves. Okay, it is. There's been a lot of gray matter. Gray. It's not even black and white. No, we got a lot of gray. We had to get out the cleaner to clean up. Got the towels to wipe up the mess. And some things have been just duct taped together. But that's okay. We got the keys. Those are all the objects on this workbench. But then I got this right here. I got we are not alone, and we are not. And then I got this right here. We've got the sheriff. We got the sheriff. I like to use inanimate objects for symbolism, spirituality purposes. Oh my gosh! And we got the horse. We got a horse. A rider on a horse. A rider on a horse. A Mustang. No, the world is changing. The world is changing. Hello, Matthew, honey. Good morning. You are a writer, Laurel Ann. The Holman rule. And, I was supposed to be typing it in. I wanted to do hooligan. Look at what it pulled up. We got some hooligans going on here. We got a bunch of hooligan that has been going on. Hooligan things. And you know what a hooligan is. We might as well look up the definition of a hooligan. Violent troublemakers. Violent young troublemaking. Typically a gang. A drunken, and we got a gang that has unlawful, we got hooliganism is disruptive, unlawful behavior, such as rioting, bullying, vandalism, often in connection with crowds at sporting events. A hooligan is a person that engages in illicit, reckless behaviors and is a public nuisance. Well, a lot of people can look around in the world today. Some people could look around in this country and say there is a whole lot of that going on in this country. There's a whole lot of that going on in this world, and it's going on in public, and it's by reckless officials. reckless officials. There's a lot of hooligan, and it's a gang of hooligan. It's an old gang who's playing an old game, and I believe the people are waking up to this hooligans, these shenanigans that are going on. We're waking up, standing up, speaking up. Hello, Applebrooks, honey. Did you come in to join us this lovely morning? Welcome. Welcome. No, we got some similarities here. And there's a bunch of hooliganism going on. But what she's saying, I mean, she's got a lot of truth in what she's saying. This lady does. But then the old gang, there is an old gang. There is an older gang on this earth that has a lot of hooligans taken. They were once young, but then they got an ancient spirit within them. They do. And it does seem like there are some initiatives that are being put forward that are not too good for the human race, but it's for the sake of something else. Okay, forget the humans, because the humans don't matter. What matters is pushing forward the agenda. And if you remember JFK last night in his speech, this speech that I'm going to pull up, it seems as if the speech was like an order that was being given by a higher power for the disarmament of all nations on the earth. That's normally what you do. Lay down your arms or we're going to obliterate you. Isn't that what happens in times of war? Lay down your arms or we will obliterate you. That's what it is in times of war. If you don't get it, and that is his speech to the UN, okay? I keep focusing on that, but no, see, we got the shadow of fear. Oh, the shadow of fear lay darkly across the world. Oh, I think that's really true right now. There is a shadow of fear that literally is laying darkly across the world. No. The 16th and 17th General Assemblies. Okay. He's now, look, and for the first time in 17 years of effort, there's the number 17, and I've been seeing the number 17 for the past 4 months. It's been popping up everywhere, and that's why I keep mentioning it on this YouTube channel. It's popping up everywhere I go. I'm seeing it practically on a daily basis. 17 years of effort. A specific step has been taken to limit the nuclear arms race. For 17 years. Where were we at? What was the 18th? We've got to show you the 18th. This is the, I don't know, you all. I think this, he gets up and he does a speech in the 18th. Let me just show you that he will do a speech in the 118th, the 18th meeting, the 18th Kennedy United Nations. It was his last one he done was in the 18th. Right here, the 18th Assembly. Where are we at? This isn't showing the number 18th, but this is the, yeah, the address before the 18th General Assembly. This was the last one that was done. We have the numbers 16, 17, and 18. 3 consecutive numbers. 3 consecutive numbers. I don't want to look at that, you all. 3 consecutive ones, and he said that we only needed, let me see if I can get that. That is the 18th, and we're here on the Holman Rule. That is separate order, not readopted for the 116th, 117th Congress, but adopted again as part of the 118th Congress. There is massive, massive change that is coming, whether you're going to like this change or not, because there have been some dark gloves, dark gloves that have had such a grip. This is very grippy gloves. All of these objects right here are spiritually symbolic to what I'm talking about. Every single object, this water, well, I need something to drink, but I can get water out of it. No, dark grippy gloves are darkness. This is all. We need a fire extinguisher. We got the rule king. We got the king of rules. No. Oh, yeah. Oh, I was supposed to be looking up something. Welcome. This is JFK. This is the same period of time. That same spirit seems to be hanging around here. It does. And when I say spirit, I mean there is something out there. Something out there, some kind of power that's out there. There's some kind of driving force that was back there during Kennedy's time, during the 16th, 17th, and 18th United Nations General Assembly. There was a spirit that was hovering, some kind of power, and it just so happens to be the time, it would fit the time frame that valiant Thor, you say, that spent 3 years in the Pentagon, right before this speech right here, when Kennedy came into power. 3 years, valiant Thor, he came with a message of peace from the High Assembly. I think that what it was called, the High Assembly. You may say, Gina, this has nothing to do with space. Yeah, space aliens and something. It does. It's tying in with it. There's something out there that's pushing for it. It was pushing for the disarmament, more or less. And he comes up with that speech to total disarmament of the a whole entire world, disarm the whole entire world. I can't make this deep. I cannot make this deep at all. But I'm telling you what, this is all tied in together. I'm supposed to be looking. There's been a lot of hooligan disruptive and unlawful behavior that has taken place, and I think this is true. We've seen it all. Rioting, bullying, and vandalism. If you can look around, if you're on this YouTube channel and you can look at me and say, oh, there has been none of that going on, I beg your pardon. There has been a whole lot of that going on these past few years. A lot of it was taking place, how many years ago? Around 4 or so? Oh, it was all over the place. It was rampant. There was a lot of hooliganism. And somebody wasn't allowed to stop it. Somebody's hands were tied, completely tied in this country, and it was going on all around the world, some hooliganism, and it's still going around in some places, a bunch of hooliganism behavior, and it's coming from, where is this at? It's in connection with the crowds. It's a public nuisance. They're creating public nuisances. It's going on, it's coming from a gang. Typically, we got a violent troublemaker out there. We got a violent troublemaker, but it's not young. It's the old rulers. They're drunken with power, drunken on power. That's one gang, and you know what gang that is. And I'm not going to mention that one gang, but they have created. They're trying to police the world. They've got a lot of this going on. They've done a lot of crimes, and they've hidden the evidence. And it has literally happened worldwide. They've created violence worldwide, and they're full of corruption to the core, because that's at the core of their being. Totally. It's at the core of their being. They do the bullying, they do the rioting, and if you don't listen to them, they're very reckless, and they have become a public nuisance. They literally are guilty of policing the world, of covering up crimes against humanity itself, because they're so corrupt, and it's been worldwide. It's been worldwide. But this Holman rule, I'm going to get to the Holman rule. We're talking about JFK. JFK does matter. We have a president that was nearly assassinated. Whether you believe it's all a setup or not, the similarities, it's the mere fact that it is similar in nature to JFK, whether you believe it or not. The synchronicities are undeniable, totally undeniable. Just based on this video alone, just based on that Holman rule, the Holman rule, just based on that they're introducing. And it was around since 1870 something. 1870 something. And where we at? We're talking about the 116th, the 117th, and the 118th Congress. Representative William Holman of Indiana, who first proposed the exception in 1876. The Congress. And we have JFK at the UN General Assembly. This is the 18th General Assembly. The last one he attended. Where's this other one? Oh my goodness. Did that get rid of this, you all? I thought I had the 18th General Assembly for 1961. But anyhow, we looked in this one. 17 years, the number 17. And we're going to go at it again if I can even find it. Jenny, you can't find it? You just give up. No, I'm not going to give up. I'm not going to give up at all. I'm not. Because this happened 1 month later, you know what happened? He was gone. He was gone. And I can't bring it. That's the 118th Congress. I wanted him to his Naytoons cartoons. And then we're going to do the cartoons, you all know. The shadow of darkness. It's really, he had it right. The shadow. We got some hope. We do have some rise. We got some hope rising. We got some rising hope. We do. We got some faith, hope, and love, but the clock is ticking. And we're running out of time, but we still have those at the center core. We have faith, hope, and love. No. Let me see if I can get down here. His final address. That was his final address. His final address. I don't even know how long he was ever in power. I couldn't even tell you how many years he was actual president. I can't, unless I did a Google search. That's how much I've read up on him, because I'm not, I got so sick of politics because I heard it all the time when my husband was in the military. It's all that I ever heard. But I did like to do my own research. I did. I wanted to know what was going on in the world. I wanted to keep my opinions to myself. And we have him here. I'm supposed to be looking up the Holman Rule. I'm going to look it up. Here's what it means. But it is being used a whole lot, not Holman. Holman Rule. All right. The Holman, look, 9/11. We got. This is literally what's going on. 9/11. We have something like that. The Holman Rule is a rule in the United States House of Representatives that allows amendments to appropriations legislation that would reduce the salary or fire specific federal employees or cut a specific program. Versions of the rule were in effect during 1876 to 1895 and again during the 1911 and 1983. We would have to ask ourselves, who was president back in 1876? What was going on in 1876 and 1895? 1876, president, 1896. Let me see this. 1896. Is that what it was? 1876. Okay, we got to get it because I don't know. 1876. President, Rutherford B. Hayes. Oh, it ended the Reconstruction period. Okay. Who ran for president in 18... This president... Which president banned the alcohol from the White House? Beneficiary of the most fiercely disrupted election. Oh my gosh, if you think our election, did you know that? Most fiercely disrupted election in American history. Rutherford B. Hayes brought to the executive mansion dignity, honesty, and moderate reform To the delight of the Women's Christian Temperance Union, Lucy Webb Hayes. My phone call got disrupted. No, not my phone call. My live stream got disrupted because a call came in. Imagine that. Imagine that at this specific moment in time. Right like that. No, no. She carried out her husband's orders to banish the wines and the liquors from the White House. I never knew that. But this was the most fiercely disrupted election in American history. Rutherford B. Hayes, the dignity, the honesty, and moderate reform. Well, during the Reconstruction period, somebody drank a lot of liquor. Franklin Pierce drank a lot of liquor. All right, look at this, you all. 1876, the presidential. Blue denotes those who won. Tyndall and Hendricks, the number of electoral. Oh my gosh, the disrupted election of 1876. In the presidential election, let's get a picture of Rutherford B. Hayes. We got to get a picture of Hayes. H-Y-E-S, president. Or maybe, I wonder if he looks, what's he look like? We got to look at him. All right. Rutherford B. Hayes. Okay, this is him. This is Rutherford B. Hayes. Oh no, he has got his hand in his coat. Trump stuck his hand in his coat and he said, "Oh, I got an envelope." And he pulled it out and it was a $1 million check from Daniel. Gina, you're just making things up. No. I took a screenshot of him sticking his hand in his coat, pulling out the envelope, pulled it straight out of his coat. Now, I have no idea why his hand is in his coat. I have no idea whatsoever. I want to know what he looked like. I wanted to know I wanted to see who was president during that time. I wanted to see how come that was the disrupted election. Oh my gosh, this is wild. The Library of Congress. We've got to look at this, you all. This is the Library of Congress.gov. Rutherford B. Hayes defeated Samuel Tilden. The controversial presidential election of 1876, although Tilden won the popular vote, he fell one shy vote of winning the Electoral College majority of Louisiana. Frank, honey, are you in here of Louisiana? Frank, hello, Frank Cooper. Yeah, we can talk about you because he had a Louisiana. Florida, South Carolina still in dispute, as well as one electoral vote in Oregon. In order to resolve the conflict, Congress created an electoral commission that eventually decided the election in favor of Hayes in 1877. The digital collections of the Library of Congress contain a wide variety of material associated with the disrupted presidential election of 1876, including manuscripts, broadsides, prints, political cartoons, sheet music, newspaper articles, government documents. It's a link to digital materials related to the presidential election of 1876. The Electoral Commission of 1876 are available through the Library of Congress and links. It became the most disruptive election in American history. In American history. Wow. So, Well, he came dignity, honesty, and moderate reform. So reform, Gina, what are you feeling? I feel within my spirit that reform is coming to the White House. Reform is coming to America. That's what I feel. Um, Reform. You may not like it. You may not like, but by the looks of what's already happening on the floor and the introduction of the Holman Bill, the Holman Rule, reducing the salaries of the alphabet agencies, and the EPA was never an officially elected agency. It was never voted on to be in existence. It wasn't. Never. It was created. Let's see when it got created. We want to see when the EPA got recreated. EPA formed. When was it formed? It better not have been formed back during the Roswell or something. Let's see when it was formed. Okay. It got formed in 1970. All right. Richard Nixon. Richard Nixon. He did it. He established it. So was Richard Nixon, was he a bad guy? Well, I think he was a crook. Was he a crook? Richard Nixon? Nixon was, I haven't heard good things about him. What happened with him? No. you, you cannot. You cannot make this up. Oh, he's speaking from the past. He is not a crook. I never even knew he. Oh, you've got to be kidding. You cannot make this up. The synchronicities. The synchronicities. Ah, yes. No, thank you. Not right now, Google. Oh, I'm not a crook. I'm not a crook, he said. There's the number 17, you all. On November the 17th of 2017, this was shared. There's the number 17 again. And we've got the 17. You've got, let's find the number 17. 17 years of conflict taken to limit the nuclear arms race. The 17. Oh, you all, that is too funny. It is too funny. I can't look at it. I don't know who he was speaking to. Who on earth was he speaking to? Was he speaking to a crowd of reporters? Why did he get accused of being a crook? Let's see what he did. Oh. Apollo 11 moon landings, the space race. He got re-elected in 72. What was he charged with? Uh-oh. I think AI is mad at me because, look, I cannot drop down these menus. AI is mad at me. Not AI, it's some kind of spirit out there. Who was the only president to resign for office? Well, I think at this point we know that the spiritual realm of darkness is not too happy with this. Not too happy. That's okay. I will pull up something else. Nixon resigned. Let me just put this back around. Let's see, Nixon, not a crook, charged with, ta-da, are we going to watch it? Let's see if we can watch it. He looks like a, let's listen to him. I want to make sure I got the volume on, you all, because I was not allowed to go over there. All right. See if we can get it. See if the ABC agency will let us watch it. I'm going to see. We got to wait, you all. If you're tuning in, good morning. That was too funny. Was he a crook? And did a search, and he said, I'm not a crook. He came back from the grave and said, I'm not a crook. That's what he said, so that's fine. Let's look what they got to say. I want to see what he had to say. Will they let us?
I made a lot of money. I made $250,000 from a book and the serial rights, which many of you were good enough to purchase also. In the practice of law, and I'm not claiming I was worth it, but apparently former vice presidents or presidents are worth a great deal to law firms, and I did work pretty hard. But also in that period, I earned between $100,000 and $250,000 every year. So that when I, in 1968, decided to become a candidate for president, I decided to clean the decks and to put everything in real estate. I sold all my stock for $300,000. That's all I own. I sold my apartment in New York for $300,000. I'm using rough figures here. And I had $100,000 coming to me from the law firm. And so that's where the money came from. Let me just say this. And I want to say this to the television audience. I made my mistakes. But in all of my years of public life, I have never profited from public service. I've earned every cent. And in all of my years of public life, I have never obstructed justice. And I think, too, that I could say that in my years of public life, that I welcome this kind of examination, because people have got to know whether or not their president's a crook. Well, I'm not a crook. I've earned everything I've got.
He's not a crook. He earned everything he got, you all. That's what happened. Yes. So you all just tuning in. That was so funny. Was he a crook? I do not look into history like that. I did not. I was too busy raising my children, you all. No, I did not. Wow. This is, oopsie, I don't know what I've done. I want to get over here. I wanted to see the Watergate scandal, because the Watergate scandal has came up. I'm just going to have to click into it. The Watergate scandal. You're looking at the floor. Watergate scandal. I couldn't even tell you what that's about. I couldn't tell you what that's about. You know why I can't tell you what it's about? Because this is all I know about the Watergate scandal. It's supposed to have been something bad. That's all I know about it. That's it. The Watergate scandal was a major political controversy in the United States during the presidency of President Richard Nixon, ultimately resulting in his resignation. With the advancement of technology heating up, that's the same thing that's happening now, President Nixon approved the use of new methods to gather intelligence. However, he changed his mind a few days later and took back his approval. Wiretapping of the Democratic Party headquarters. The cover-up and its unraveling. Within hours, somebody got arrested. The Pentagon Papers were files that were leaked to the press, and the New York Times and the Washington Post began publishing these secret files. Why can't I see all of that? I don't know how to make it bigger. Oh, okay, we can see it. All right. The Pentagon and secret files. This is the timeline. So we got 1971. You are with this. This somehow, some way ties into what's going on today. If you're just tuning in, welcome. That's somebody met it. They just got caught. Let's look at this. In 1970, the advancement of technology. However, he changed his mind. He took back his approval in 1971. The papers were files that were leaked to the press. The New York Times and the Washington Post began publishing secret files. 1971 in September, the White House was outraged at this leak to the press, and they developed a special unit called the Plumbers Unit. You got to get the plumber. The Plumbers Unit. Oh, I got something for that. I do got something for that. They had to call the Plumbers Unit. They called in, they created a Plumbers Unit. A Plumbers Unit. They had to call in a plumber. Oh my gosh, they had to call in a plumber because they had a lot of stuff to literally plunge. They had a big old blockage. They developed it. They hoped to find the identity of the person responsible for the leak, and they eventually broke into a doctor's office. And during the Democratic National Convention on the 17th of June, a group of 5 men were caught breaking into the convention center at the Watergate Hotel. The men were found attempting to bug the convention. 2 of the burglars were identified as CIA and Republican security aide. Richard Nixon's re-election campaign denied any involvement. During an investigation, authorities found that one of the burglars had been paid $25,000 from a Nixon campaign account. They also found the secret Republican fund used to gather information. During the investigation, the re-election campaign continued, and President Nixon was re-elected in a landslide. It looks like they used both parties to get their agenda. So this gang of hooligans, let me see this. We had the word hooligans. We have a gang of hooligans that literally has been around, and they use both sides. They're trying to police the world, control everything. They've created crimes against humanity, and it's literally created violence in the whole world, and they're corrupted at the core of their being, is what it is. Unlawful behavior has been taking place, rioting, bulleting, vandalism, all of it. It's the definition of a hooligan is typically one gang, and we know that there is one gang, a violent troublemaker. All right, we come back here. I want to see this. I got to go back over to the other search engine. The courts. We're talking about JFK. Now we're in the courts. They went to Nixon and asked him to turn over the recorded tapes, and he ordered the taping system disconnected, and he refused to turn over the tapes during the Watergate scandal. Look. The trial of the Watergate scandal continued, and former presidential aide revealed President Nixon recorded each phone conversation that took place in the office. Frustrated over his obvious efforts to obstruct the justice, the courts began the impeachment process of Nixon, and Nixon complained about his innocence. He fired several of his top aides, and he continued promising that he was not involved in the scandal, and his testimony was becoming less believable with each passing day. The court at last forced the president into turning over his recorded phone conversations. There were gaps in the tapes, which led investigators to believe that someone had damaged them purposely. In August, President Nixon resigned from office of president, and Vice President Gerald Ford, stepped in as the commander-in-chief, and it wasn't for 30 more years that America would learn the identity of the deep throat person. Do you all know who was this deep throat person? Because I don't know anything about it. We got Vietnam War. We got Vietnam War also. Who was the deep throat person? You kept hearing that he will experience it. Who was the deep throat person? I don't know about it. She was around during Nixon's time. Hillary Clinton? We got to look up Hillary Clinton, Hillary and Nixon. Let's look around Hillary and Nixon. We're going to look on her. Hillary and Nixon. Ah, Hillary Clinton on the Nixon impeachment. Wow. Well, what is she doing there? Who is this person? That's her. Is she Richard Nixon's heir? Is she Richard Nixon's heir? What? I gotta make sure this volume is turned off because I don't want it. Did you just see that? Hillary Nixon, y'all, please give this video a thumbs up. Was she Nixon's heir? This came out in 2015. In 2015. Bloomberg. This is Bloomberg. How Richard Nixon created Hillary Clinton. She helped investigate Watergate. This is politics. Wow. Oh my. That's something you all can investigate. There's no like button. Hillary Clinton. We got to see about Hillary Clinton. Let's see if she was, whoopsie, hold on. Okay, Hillary Clinton, was she Richard Nixon's daughter? Richard Nixon, daughter, Hillary Clinton. Hillary, no, I can't, I gotta say this. Richard, I hope this will let me work. Okay. Is Hillary Clinton Richard Nixon's heir? Oh, I'm having trouble here, you all. Richard, I want to see this. Richard Nixon, heir. He created her. That's what he did. He created Hillary Clinton. Created her and groomed her. She was groomed. She got fired. Was Hillary Clinton fired from the Nixon impeachment? So it's pretty clear that Jerry Zeifman, chief counsel of the House Judiciary Committee during the Watergate inquiry, had the Cato Institute. In neither of his books does Zeifman say he fired Clinton, but in 2008, a reporter named Dan Calabrese wrote an article that claimed when the investigation was over, Zeifman fired Hillary from the committee staff and refused to give her a letter of recommendation. The article quoted Zeifman as saying she was a liar, she was an unethical, dishonest lawyer. She conspired to violate the Constitution, the rules of the House, and the rules of the committee, and the rules of confidentiality. In 1999, 9 years before the interview, he told the Scripps, if I had the power to fire her, I would have fired her. He would have fired her. He would have fired her. Has she topped him? It was always hard to win as the heir of a popular president. Hillary has met the same fate as the men who ran as heirs apparent. She worked on the Nixon thing. She okay. Nixon's ghost stalk her. She wades into the impeachment interview. Okay, that's all about Hillary. We don't need to know anything else about her. We don't. We know that people lost their lives. They did. They lost their lives. Wasn't she like Secretary of State or something at one point? She was put in some kind of position. She was the Secretary of State. Hillary, I'm going to type this in. Hillary she dropped out of that race pretty. I don't know what she, oh yeah. She became the Secretary of State. And if you're Secretary of State, you've got tons of power. You have a lot of power. And she was the one who, no, people lost their lives during that time. They lost their lives. Yeah. It's the bloodlines. Oh, yes, yes. Benghazi. Was it Benghazi? Is that what it was? Benghazi? Yeah. Stand down. They gave the order to stand down in Benghazi. Is that what it was? Yeah, Benghazi. Let's see, Benghazi. 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 And let me see. Yes. That's what it was. There's the number 17. Benghazi deaths. It got dismissed. Oh, yeah, I saw how they used the money. This lady who spoke, where was she at? She said that they were using the money. This one person who she wants to have the Holman Rule apply to reduce the woman's salary, who was not even elected by the she's introducing the Holman bill that to reduce the salary of the crooked politicians. She's the one who said one of these crooked politicians used the money that they had to pay for lawyers and judges in all different courts across the country in order to get the rulings that they wanted, to have lawsuits thrown out. That's what it was. Yeah. So imagine that. It's fine. That's fine because you know what? We're here to do some cleanup. We got the fire extinguisher. We got, these are the things that are on this workbench. You got to clean up the mess because we found somebody had some screws loose. One of their screws fell out. There's been a lot of gray. This is not black and white. No, we got a lot of gray areas that need some cleaning up. We are running out of time, but we got faith, hope, and love, and we got to put out a lot of fires. And I had to take off my gloves. And they got a lot of stuff that they just taped together. And they need to be transparent like this tape. They need to be transparent, and it's not. But that's okay. We got a Rule King. And I'm trying to do this. I'm going to go back. We got a whole bunch of hooligans. One gang of hooligans is what we got. And we want to go back to the Holman Rule. The Holman Rule. So this is what is being enacted today is the Holman Rule. And it's from 1776, and it was Representative William Holman of Indiana proposed the first exception in 1876. And I got a bottle of Rule King. It's purified water, and I've got lemon. I got lemon water. This lemon water has lemon juice in it, and it's supposed to literally clean the toxins from your body. Well, the toxins of us, the great big body of people who govern this country needs cleaned out of the toxins. The toxins needs cleaned out. And there's a lot of toxins. That's all I got to say. It is. I'm going to go. I am. I thought I was done with Kennedy. Didn't focus too much on Kennedy, but I'll go straight back to the very beginning. Why are you talking about JFK? The reason I'm talking about JFK is because it's just how it's happening. This home and rule, it had the numbers 116th. They want to, for the reduction in the amount of money that's in the bills, reduction of the number of salary of the offices of the United States. They can reduce their salary to $1. And they said, well, if you do that, you might as well fire them. Well, they can get fired. And the reduction of the compensation of any person paid out of the Treasury of the United States. This is the 116th, 117th Congress. It was adopted again in the 118th Congress. And John Fitzgerald Kennedy, let's get to the address. I forget which one I had open. It had the number 17th. Here we go. We have those were anxious days for mankind. And yes, they're causing us a lot of anxiety, what's happening right now. And we don't even know if we can survive. We don't even know if the United States could survive at this point with what has been done. But the 16th, here's the number, 16th and 17th General Assemblies, 17 years, and he gave this to the 18th. So there's the number 16, 17, and 18, which ties in with the home and rule. That was the 116th, 117th, 118th Congress. And it's all tied together, is spiritually speaking. It is, yeah. We got to clean up the mess. Don't know how long it'll stay clean. It might buy us some time. Really, it might. So I got to get. So with that, I'm going to go. Thank you all for your comments. Please give this video a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button. And somehow, some way, this is tied to space, outer space, aliens, other worldly involvement is involved here. Some power that is not of this earth is involved. And you got an ancient bloodline. It's a gang of hooligans who have been put into power, who are still in power, but that's okay because we have now taken off our gloves and we've saw their big black gloves that they had their grip on. See how big they are? They had big hands, grippy. They didn't want to let go, but their gloves have been being ripped off their hands, spiritually speaking. I'm going to go. And with that being said, hello, wherever you are in any part of the world. Hello. From my heart to yours, love you. Have a wonderful rest of your morning. Thank you, Applebrooks Honey. If you're the only moderator on here, thank you. And thank you all for your comments. If there's a moderator in incognito, thank you. I have no idea what I'm going to talk about next. I'm at this point, I'm just going to be led by the Spirit. I am. Have a wonderful rest of your morning. Please give this video a thumbs up, you all, and thank you very much.